favorite chica, Judy Torres, and we love our music, and we're very specific about how we like it. For example, you've got this massive music library, right? Millions of tracks. But if you have the iHeartRadio app, it's right under your thumb. You can search, you can play any song you want to hear. And when you hear something you love on the radio, bam! You add it to the playlist and even download it to your phone to listen to anytime. It's an incredible app. You've got to check it out. It's free and it's all under your control. Have fun. The easy app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today. Millions of tracks. But if you to the playlist and even download them to your phone to listen to anytime. It's an incredible app. You've got to check it out. It's free and it's all under your control. Have fun. The easy app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today. When I'm in the air, I need the glasses. When I'm not on the air, I don't need them. How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Scott, my feelings get hurt when people don't ask how I'm doing before they ask about the tickets.
How you doing?
I'm good, Scott. Your chance comes between 2:20 and 2:50.
Okay.
All right? After the 2 o'clock hour, I'll tell you the specific time, the exact time to call. Okay, Scott?
Okay, Judy.
Okay, have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So we're here with Judy Torres. She gave us this opportunity to see her work and to talk a little bit about her career in music and in particular about freestyle and the era of the 90s when freestyle was like really taking off, really like very popular.
Yeah. Well, freestyle kind of started in the mid-'80s, and it really gained the popularity towards the end of the 80s and into the early 90s. Not to correct you, but just to let you know.
That's great. Could you tell me, how did you become part of the freestyle genre and the movement of freestyle music?
Well, it was an accident because I really, originally I wanted to do Broadway. You know, I studied a lot of musical theater in school, and I always thought that I was going to be doing Broadway when I grew up, and but I need to get my foot in the door, you know. So I was performing in different dive bars and different clubs, and finally I did this small little itty bitty place called Side Street in the Bronx, and there was a gong show going on there, and there was a judge who was going to gong me because I was doing a song, I was singing a song kind of silly, just for fun, just to make people laugh, and it was that judge at the end of the show that came up to me and offered to help me. And I said to him, you know, I don't have any money to pay you. And he said, that's okay, because I don't have any money either, but I want to help you. And so we went ahead and we started working together. And a few months later, he said, you know, you really need to do some original music. And he had a friend named Mickey Garcia who was looking for a singer who had written some music. And I sang this song called, I was given this song called Love's Gonna Get You. And I didn't really like it too much, but this other singer that Mickey was working with got a song called No Reason to Cry. And I told her, you know what, I really like your song. And she's like, I really like your song. So we switched.
Yeah.
And when I first heard No Reason to Cry, like I said, my intention was to get my foot in the door. But when I heard No Reason to Cry, I thought, this is a positive song. It's beautiful. And in my mind, I could imagine that the whole world singing it, you know. And so I went ahead and recorded it. And, you know, not even knowing at that time, it wasn't even labeled freestyle at all. If anything, it was just music. And as the time went on, people started to feel like they had to label it. And the music industry is like, what is this thing that's going on, that's happening in these inner cities, specifically New York City and Florida? And, you know, why... who are they? And it was just really funny. And so at first they called it Latin hip hop.
Okay.
And then they changed it over to Latin freestyle, and then they just dropped it to freestyle.
Right.
So it was an accident, but it was a good accident.
Very interesting how that all came about, because some people might consider that sort of kind of a signature song when they think of you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting how things fall into place that way. Like, kismet, cosmic.
It's pretty awesome. It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing that's lasted 30 years. I didn't think it was going to last this long, and I'm happy to still be performing and non-performing for the fans' children.
Right.
You know, which is pretty amazing. Right. But it's all because the fans shared the music. Because I tell people all the time, freestyle never won a Grammy Award.
Right.
You know, we didn't have the MTV VMAs and things like that. We didn't have the internet back then. So it was solely word of mouth. So the fact that the parents are sharing the music with their children now is pretty amazing. And that's what keeps it going.
Okay, so we're doing these interviews piece by piece. We're going to continue in a few minutes with a little bit more and some more questions and more with Judy. So we'll be right back.
Excellent. All right. Today's not going to be too bad. Cloudy with an occasional rain shower here and there. High 56. Tonight, cloudy to partly cloudy after midnight, going down to 44. And tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 58. Right now, you heard it. The word is cloudy. It's 54 at the beat of New York. These are for the microphones. This is for the music. This is for anything on the computer. This is our Vox Pro. This is how we record our listeners and our phone calls and things like that. From here we can edit. We can bleep people out if they curse, stuff like that. It's basically it. But when I first started working at KTU, we were still using CDs. So when you came in, you had to get your you had to look at the playlist, and you had to pull out all the CDs for all your hours, and commercials were played on cart machines, and it was crazy. You had to get here early. Mm-hmm. Now everything's it's almost done for you because everything's so digital now. Technology has made things easier for a lot of people, but when something goes wrong in technology, I hate technology.
You've been here a long time working on your show.
I've been here, I had the Freestyle Free For All for 12 years. And then I've been here, this June makes 18 years. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long, long time. It's good.
And songs that take you right back to great times with amazing people. 103.5 KTU's Throwback Weekend on the beat of New York.
Let me take the glasses off. Go ahead. You got my attention.
Okay, so we were talking about the popularity of freestyle and how it was a phenomenon growing up in the 80s and the 90s, and it was almost a soundtrack to that generation's lives. So what do you think happened? Was it just an evolution of time that the genre kind of wasn't as popular, like it was replaced? What do you think might have happened?
The truth is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. I think, definitely freestyle is the music of that generation, so that's part of it, because every generation has their own music. Because now you listen to you talk to people from our time, they say, oh, today's music is horrible, but every generation has their own music, so this was definitely our music. I think just as freestyle began to come mainstream, hip-hop was rising. So I remember that Hot 97 in New York at the time was playing freestyle and pop and dance. And then one day the program director had announced, he's like, hey, from now on we're going to play this thing called hip hop. And then all of a sudden it just stopped being played on the radio. And unfortunately the rest of the country follows suit with what New York does. So if New York plays it, they'll play it, So that became a difficult time for a lot of us. Also, I think, hip hop has always evolved. And that's why I think it's still around. And I think when you talk about freestyle began to evolve and then kind of just stopped. Because I think everyone found this really great recipe that tasted good, and everyone started making the same recipe, and no one was trying to flavor it up or try something else. And in order for a genre of music to survive, it needs evolution, and I think part of that was that wasn't happening. And I think that some of or a little bit of the quality of the music and the singers, some of it was not up to par. It wasn't as good as it should have been. As I said, it needs to evolve, it needs to improve, and I think that was lacking. But I don't think it was our fault, so to speak. I think I don't know, it just happened, you know.
I think part for me, just speaking personally for me, what I really was drawn to that music, and I'm sure that's what labels picked up on, was the authenticity of it all. Like, you would hear someone like yourself, you would hear someone like Little Susie, just throwing names off the top of my head, the Cover Girls, and we could relate to these people. Like, these people were telling our stories, we could relate to them, and then the sounds that they were creating were relatable too. Like, it was as if we were being represented, and
Yes.
we had never been
Yes,
represented
it's
before.
our people were represented through freestyle because it was created by us. Just the way hip hop was created by the people of the city. Freestyle was also, but freestyle was more like the Latin version, you know. And at the time, auto tunes didn't exist. There was no digital media. They just started to discover the sound of synthesizers and things like that. And that's why when you hear it, sometimes it sounds tinny, or it sounds like, you know, couldn't they fill that up more? No, we couldn't, because that's what we had back then. And there were no auto tunes, so when you recorded, if you messed up, you started all over again. It wasn't like someone would say, "Oh, don't worry about that. I'll fix that word." You know. So it was an interesting time. It was a lot of fun, and you know, I'm glad that it happened. And you know, do I wish that freestyle continued? Yes, but I'm okay that it didn't, because I'm okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still performing, and we still have our fans, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah. The Latin freestyle became later freestyle, as you said before. A while it was considered Latin freestyle, and then all of a sudden you hear of this new thing. Maybe it could be an evolution, but then again it's separate and not connected at all. A Latin explosion. Do you remember that phase of music where there was this Latin explosion?
I think there's always a Latin explosion. Whereas, you know, Latinos have always been in music all the time. But, you know, I remember when I first started, they wanted me to change my name, because they said you have to make your name ambiguous so people can't really figure out that you're Latin. And I was like, why? What's wrong with that? Well, if you do that, you know, you might not ever be added on top 40. I was like, why? I don't understand that. So I feel like a lot of us did open the doors for those who are around today, that they can use their name and they can use it proudly. Because my attitude was, I'm not changing my name, because I was picked on in high school, and I wanted those people to know that I had made it. So I wasn't changing my name for nobody. And it might have cost me, who knows, but I'm okay with it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, it's an amazing genre. I, again, personally, I can only speak for myself. I get these nuances of theater and like big stage and really like singing. You know what I mean? And yeah, I just found the whole genre just absolutely amazing. And again,
it was fun, it was innocent. You know, there's no such thing, you never hear of anything called gangster freestyle. You know, it was innocent. It's about love. It's about falling in love, falling out of love, being betrayed by love, hoping for love, wishing for love, missing love. It's just love. And that's why I think freestyle really rings true to a lot of people, is because it really deals with the innocence of all those feelings.
yeah, the songs were so well written too. Like the lyrics were just so amazing. Like, people remember lyrics. You know, like they can remember the lyrics, and they sing the lyrics along with you guys.
Hola, this is your favorite chica, Judy Torres, and we love our music, and we're very specific about how we like our music. For example, you've got this massive music library, right? Millions of tracks. But if you have the iHeartRadio app, it's right under your thumb. You can search, you can play any song you want to hear, and when you hear something you love on the radio, bam! bam, you add it to the playlist and even download them to your phone to listen to anytime. It's an incredible app. You've got to check it out. It's free and it's all under your control. Have fun. The Easy app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
1035 KTU, the beat of New York. More next.
Summer's here, and Share a Coke is back, now with more names than ever. Over 1,000 of them. So share a delicious ice-cold Coke in the heat.
We're talking now about, you started off with There's No Reason to Cry.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes this huge sensation. It's part of the freestyle boom of the moment. Your first album, how does that then come into play?
Well, we did after No Reason to Cry. No Reason to Cry was just a single, and I was told if the single does well, we'll let you do another single. So then we did Come Into My Arms, and then they said if that single does well, then we'll do an album.
And it was huge.
So we did Love Story, and Love Story was released, and Love Story got on the air, and then Please Stay Tonight was also released, and Love You Love Me became a big hit, and Love You Love Me was never supposed to even happen, because the label had decided we were not releasing any more songs. But Little Louis Vega at the time, he was DJing at 1018, and he was playing it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And people started calling the radio stations and requesting it. And so all of a sudden one day I just got a phone call from the label. Hey, we need you to come in, you need to do pictures. We're releasing Love You Love Me, next week. Oh, what? Okay. So it was great.
Yeah.
So it was a great album. It was fun. It was like, wow, I get an album. I get to say I did an album.
Yeah.
It was really great.
Yeah, it was an amazing time, I'm sure. Everything was happening so fast, and you were so young, and you were in the middle of it all.
Yeah.
On the writing, on the title track, were you involved in any of?
The only song that I co-wrote was Come Into My Arms. I wrote the last verse.
Okay.
And then on the second album that was entitled My Soul, I wrote the song My Soul.
The title track.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to sing because I can't sing, but I'm hearing the lyrics in my head. It was like a love story, dreams come true.
Yeah. Well, love story. The whole idea of love story was about creating a love story. And even the album, the record label. Promoted it that way. Let's see what her story is about. We're here to walk with her through her love story. It was really nice. Yeah.
Were you in love at the time?
I was. I loved a lot of people. No, I had a few boyfriends. I had one specifically who broke my heart pretty bad, and that's what Come Into My Arms was about.
Okay.
But, I tell the story when I perform that, my mom had told me use the music to help heal. So I figured, okay, instead of being angry about it and walking around bitter, I just decided, okay, I'll tell the story. And the truth was, I woke up in the morning and he wasn't by my side and I was really hurt. Wow. But I never heard from him again. But I'm glad it happened, because if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have had the words for the song.
Right. The Freestyle Adele.
Yeah, so, exactly. The Freestyle Adele, the Freestyle Taylor Swift.
Oh my goodness. And so just a little segue into, like a little further along, you began then creating more singles once the albums were done, and then you just continued to create music.
Yeah. Well, I keep... there were a few years that I didn't do anything, but I started thinking about it, and I remember I was driving and I heard Faithfully, and I thought, oh my God, what a great song. I loved Journey when I was in high school, and I knew the people my age loved him too, and so I figured, what I'll do? I'm going to remake Faithfully. And so I called the label. They said, absolutely not. And I called the producer. He said, absolutely not. And I fought really hard, but finally the producer said, since you told me about this song, I heard that song 4 times. So it's a sign, so let's do it. So we did it, and the label heard it, and they said, congratulations, you got yourself a new song. And so, I did another song before that called The Air That I Breathe. And I also did a song called Stay. I did a song called I Don't. I did a song called Beautiful Life. And so you know, a lot of people have this misconception that I don't record new songs, but I do. The thing is that I'm picky about what I record. I want it to be good. I want it to mean something. And so I wait. Now I'm waiting for the next one. We'll see what happens.
You had two more recent singles. One had to do with domestic violence.
Oh, I forgot about that song. Yes, Hell No. Yeah, I'm very passionate about domestic violence because my mom was a survivor of that, and my sister had gone through some of that as well. So it's a subject that's passionate for me. I really hate the idea that people don't feel empowered enough to get out of a bad situation when they know it's happening.
Right.
And I understand all the complications that are involved in that. It's not easy. And so women and men who are going through that need the compassion. You know, that's what we all don't have. We're like, oh my God, just get out of that. But it's not that easy because someone has worked on you for a long time. They've worked on isolating you. They've worked on minimizing you, making you feel like you're pretty worthless without them. And then you become afraid because they're violent. So you put all those things together and it leads to this formula that you feel like you can't leave, you know. And then some women leave, and when they first leave, that first beginning of that time that you leave, that's when you're most vulnerable to being really hurt, like genuinely hurt, killed, etc. We hear about that stuff all the time. So when you do decide to leave, you have to come up with a plan. But that's why I wrote it, because I just felt like it was time to send that message out.
Yeah, I recently experienced that, not myself personally, but through someone. And yeah, a lot of the times you don't know what to do, what to say, what to feel. You just
it's a very lonely experience because you're also embarrassed and you're also ashamed. So you're afraid to tell anyone. You know, and for some reason, ironically, you think it's your fault, and it's not. You know, you had nothing to do with it. It's not even about you. You're just the victim of their emotions. It has nothing to do with that.
I guess that's the real message, to just show that compassion, that you did nothing absolutely
and that you can get out. You can get out.
And then you can get out. It's also important to say.
And you need support. You know, you do need support. So if you have nobody to go to, no one to talk to help you, then you call the National Domestic Violence Abuse Hotline, and they will help you come up with a plan and find a place to go, because you know, one day longer there is worse for you. The longer you stay, the worse it gets.
Yeah, and I think that denial part is the real challenge for them. They almost want to deny that it happened, because if they deny that it happened, it didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also because, you know, when the violence happens, in the moment it's all rage, and then right after that he's so sorry, you know, or she's so sorry, because it happens to men too. It happens in all types of relationships, straight, gay, whatever. It happens. And so it's hard, you know, it's hard to confess it, because the person is genuinely sorry when they're saying it. But it's a matter of time again before they explode, and it happens again, and that's a really vicious cycle.
Yeah, that's a scary part.
And when you see them when they're saying sorry, they are sorry, and they're apologizing, and they're crying, and they're promising it won't happen again, and they don't do it for a while, and everything's okay, and then bam. So to me, if that happens once is too many times.
It is.
You gotta go.
It is. Even before it happens, it's a lot.
I got a phone call from the program director at the time. His name was Frankie Blue. And I had done a show for KTU the weekend before in Long Island. It was a big show, and the crowd was getting rowdy. Somebody was late to put on. They had nobody else, and I said, Judy, can you go up there and talk to the crowd and calm them down? And I don't remember what I said. I don't remember what I did. I just know I had fun. And when I got off stage, you know, it was cool. It was like a good moment. And then I got the phone call from Frankie Blue. He's like, hey, Judy Torres, you know, how are you? We want to know if you want to join the KTU Dream Team. So I thought he wanted to hire me, like, I don't know, as a secretary. And I was like, well, you know, I used to work for an attorney for 4 years. I can type really well. He's like, no, to put you on air, silly. I was like, oh, well, thank you. But I said, I did a major in communications. I can't do it. He's like, we can train you. I was like, okay, really? He's like, yeah. And 2 weeks later, I was on the air. And that's horrible. That's so bad. I was so bad that by the third month I was like, they're gonna fire me. They're going to fire me. And then one day I came in and I looked at the music log and it was all freestyle music and I was like, what is this? And he's like, I really think you would do well if you just play freestyle. I was like, why? Don't you understand? Like for me, see, when freestyle died, I felt like it was a wake-up call that I needed to have something else under my belt. You know, I thought I needed to have a backup plan, you know. So I felt like if I'm going to be on radio, I want to be known as a personality for radio, not the girl who hosts a freestyle show for radio, you know. And so, but anyway, it turned out to be the best decision. He was right. He was right. Because when I played the music, I knew who everybody was. I knew where they were from. I knew some of the history of the songs. So, and it became the #1 rated show for a really long time, you know. So, and then when the latest program director came in, we got taken over by a different company, and they wanted to get rid of all the specialty shows. So Studio 54 Clubhouse was out, Freestyle was out, and they just wanted to go strictly top 40, which is what we play now. So, you know, and then this helped me with other things. You know, for 4 years I wrote an advice column for a bilingual publication called Latin Trends. That was a lot of fun. And, you know, I was on an off-Broadway show called My Big Gay Italian Wedding for like a year and a half. That was fun. And now I'm going into acting. I did 3 independent films. 2 of them have been out. They both won awards. The first one was Elliot Loves, and it was about a young man discovering his path, knowing that he's gay and how he was going to deal with that and his relationship with his mom. And then this movie that I'm in now, that it just won an award for Best Family Feature at the Manhattan Film Festival. It's called Fists of Love. That's a domestic violence movie, and I played the girl's best friend who was getting beat. And so, you know, I have an agent. I go on some auditions. I do a lot of TV auditions. So I have auditioned for Shades of Blue, for Billions, for... Oh God, what was the one I did the other day? Oh, I just did an audition last week for a Netflix show called 40 North. It's going to be about before 9/11, like when a lot of terrorist activity was going on and they had a feeling that something was going to happen, you know. I auditioned for Ocean's 8. I auditioned for Empire. Actually, if you watch Empire, do you watch Empire?
Yes.
Okay, you know the role that, you know, Nia Long?
Yes.
She was playing Juliana. That's the role that I auditioned for.
That's another thing I was thinking about. I was thinking about how in the story and the retelling of history and the retelling of the story, that part was not there. You know, that's what really drove me to want to do this, because that part was not there, and someone needs to tell this story. You know, this part.
I mean, you know, like Oprah says, everybody has their story, you know, and everyone wants to sit down and ask. Everyone would be amazed, because everyone has a great story to tell.
Yeah.
You know, everyone has survived things. Everyone has suffered things. Everyone has had their own revelations and victories and downfalls, and you know, and that's part of life. So right now I'm working on writing a one-woman show, and I'm also writing my memoir.
Nice.
Because everybody has a story. I figure if right now I can't seem to find my way, then I'll pave a way, you know. And so the one-woman show is going to be called No Reason to Cry, and so is the memoir.
Nice.
It's going to be basically about how, you know, the struggles I've been through financially, relationship-wise, health-wise, and you know, at the end of the day, through it all, there's still no reason to cry. You know, that's the idea of it. So I'm actually writing it now, and it probably won't be done for a while, but I'm excited. Oh look, I was just talking about the Justin Bieber song, and we're gonna play it next. Yeah.
is our final segment with Judy. I want, if you can, for you to think about that girl that was in Thomas Aquinas
St. Thomas Aquinas.
High School in the Bronx. And she had a dream. Even back then, she had a dream. That's really amazing. And you knew, or did you know? Was it like what?
I knew.
You knew.
I didn't know I was going to succeed as a singer, but I knew I wanted to be a singer. And I knew that probably from the age of 10. I was watching Judy Garland sing Over the Rainbow and Wizard of Oz, and I was like, Mom, when I grow up, I'm going to be a singer, and I'm going to sing with Judy Garland because her name is Judy and my name is Judy. And Mother's like, no, Judy's dead. I was like, oh, God, she's dead. And then I was watching...
That's not funny.
I know, but it's true, because I was like, what? So, then my obsession with Judy Garland began. But, I always knew I wanted to do it. I loved watching how people responded to singers. I realized it's a way to communicate your feelings when you can't speak them. You know, I spent a lot of my childhood not being able to talk about how I felt, so I was too scared to. So the singing helped me get it out, you know. And I also love that while you're performing, if you're a good enough performer, you can capture the audience's attention, not one person, but everybody. And if you're really good, you can change how they feel. You can help them feel better. They might have had a bad day, they might have had a fight with somebody, but when they see you perform, your job is to help them forget their feelings or help them remember what joy is about. And that's a very powerful tool in life, is, you know, to share that joy. And what I hope to accomplish in my career is to uplift, empower, encourage, and just do good while I'm here. Make people feel good.
Yeah. I think it's important that we, I'm looking for the right word, I almost want to say nurture people with these dreams and people who are interested in the arts,
absolutely.
and, you know, people who are looking for a way to express themselves, you know, and I believe they do need encouragement, and they do need mentorship, and they do need people who can lead them in the right direction of how they want to do it. And even if it's, you know, like a small play, like in your school, and you're doing a small play or whatever it is, if it's that whole idea of, you know, the arts and expressing yourself, that's like really, really important. I don't know if there's enough of that. Like, I wonder if there's enough of that, because, you know,
lately, especially in schools, they're killing a lot of the artistic programs, you know. But I think that we, by nature, we are artistic people. We are creative people, you know, and that desire to create is always going to be there, because, like I said, it's a form of self-expression, and it's unique and individual to every single person. So if anybody out there wants to be a singer, actor, writer, artist, poet, whatever that is, just go for it, because, man, life happens so fast. And you know, you have to believe in yourself. I tell people all the time, you have to be your best number one fan, because people don't believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And that's what I learned, you know, in the beginning of my career. I would go on stage and people would chant "Go Gorda" and make fun of me, and it was shocking, and I couldn't understand why people were doing it. And I thought, okay, they're doing it because I'm fat or whatever. And then I realized, no, they're not doing it because I'm fat. They're doing it because they can tell I'm scared. They can tell that I'm not so confident in myself, and that automatically makes me fall prey. And then I thought about it one day and went on stage, and that's when I started saying, I may be chunky, but I'm funky. It's like my way of saying I'm acknowledging my flaw, but I'm okay with it. And once I did that, everyone else was okay with it too.
Oh, okay. I never knew that. Yeah, because I know, like, we're from the same era, the same generation, and I actually seen you live, which is what brought us here together today. And you would come into the clubs and you would dance, and everyone was like, "Go Judy, go Judy!" It was all love and excitement. Like people
It wasn't
would,
always like that in the beginning. It wasn't like that, but
Like-
that's what it was. I realized that, you know, and we were, you know, what you think about it, the fans were young too. We were young kids at the time, so maybe that's what kids do, you know, and that's what this generation has to know too. For the ones who are picked on, who are bullied, that's what kids, and when I say kids, I mean immaturity. That's what that's the face of immaturity. And if you can get past that and just try your best to ignore that and just focus on becoming the best you can be, you'll see that will stop. And then one day you're doing this amazing thing and they're not. You know, so you just have to keep pushing forward, but you know, express yourself, love yourself, be happy with who you are, because there's only one you in the whole world. So what do you want that world to do? What do you want the world to see about you? What do you want the world to know about you? What do you want the world to feel about you? You know, when people pass, they don't talk about how much money this person had or what their achievements were, as much as they talk about how you treated people and how you made people feel. That's the most important thing. So for me, I'm hoping that, you know, as I turn 50 next year, that that's what my career is focused on: empowering, encouraging, and uplifting, and that everywhere I go, people will feel better about themselves than when they first met me. That's my hope.
Wow. 25 years or so in the industry? 30 years. The one, the only, Judy Torres.
Yay!
Anything you like to
Well, you know,
link to, or
they can like me on Facebook.com at Judy Torres Music. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm on Snapchat, but I don't really use it. And you know, right now I'm obviously at KTU on Sundays from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I'm working on a one-woman show right now called No Reason to Cry, and I'm working on writing my memoir. And when I get close to, you know, doing that, releasing that, I hope that everyone will come and check it out.
right, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thanks for the access and the wonderful afternoon watching you work and hearing your story. Right?
Gracias.
Thanks so much.
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye. 1-800-245-1035. Caller 103 gets a pair of tickets to KT Euphoria June 3rd at the Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater, featuring Backstreet Boys, Fifth Harmony, Nicky Jam, Jason Derulo, and many, many more. Good luck from 103.5 KTU. This is what you came for. Hi, KTU. Who's this and where are you from?
Selma from Lyndhurst.
What is it?
Selma from Lyndhurst.
Selma from Lyndhurst. Are you busy June 3rd?
No, I'm not.
You're going to KT Euphoria.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What are you doing right now?
Just watching TV.
Man, girl, you sound bored as heck. I hope you have fun at KT Euphoria, Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater, June 3rd, featuring Backstreet Boys, Fifth Harmony, Nicky Jam, Jason Derulo, Shaggy, Daya, Craig David, Starley, and special guest Miley Cyrus. Tickets on sale now at KTU.com, and you won them from what station, Selma?